right, now, I need to talk to you about something else, and I had it up on the board, but somebody, I think Mr. Newton restarted the computer, so it's gone, so I'll have to rewrite it. And that is what's going on in the next few weeks. I'm kind of late because I wasn't able to do it Monday because I sounded like a bullfrog and I wasn't feeling well.
Man, I tell you what,
Whose fault? Whose fault is that? Yeah, you didn't check the email. You do that in your job and you're going to get written up. You hear me? You do that in your job and you get written up.
Did you not have to sign up my paper for the email?
I don't know what you're talking about. They do that, but I don't care about that.
Am I the only one that signed my paper? No, I didn't know that.
You check their email.
You want to be counted for?
They tell everybody that. Do you really think I care about you signing it?
I really didn't feel all day.
No, not my fault.
I think my 9:30.
Okay. Now, the next few days or the next 3 weeks, we're talking about pre-registration. I do this with all my classes. So, and it helps some students who don't know what's going on. So, for the next 4 weeks, you have a chance to go by and see your advisor on summer and fall classes. Summer and fall registration, or one of them, registration opens up on March 10th.
That's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Okay, at 8 a.m. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because the lazy students and the I'll do it later, they don't do this, and then they come, and when do they show up to get registration? Between the semesters, and guess where all the faculty and staff are? On break. And then they get mad and throw a little hissy fit because they don't understand why TriCounty Tech is not here to help the students. We give you 4 to 5 weeks to take care of this. Your DA didn't take care of it. Whose fault is it? You. It's your fault. All right? So don't be one of those people. Now, what do you do first? 1. You go to Starfish. What is Starfish? Well, you go to your handy dandy TriCounty Tech page, and you go to the page that says Get Connected. And you click on to Starfish right here. Or you can go to Blackboard. It's on the left or the right hand side. I don't know nothing about Blackboard. Hit Starfish. Go to Starfish. Then you go to Appointments. Now, your Starfish knows who your advisor is. Okay? So it'll go to your advisor's appointments. And then you just what? Add appointment, make an appointment. That's how it works. Now, some of the dinosaurs on campus that don't use this, they're supposed to use it, but they don't. You have to go by their office and there'll be a poster on their door, and you have to sign up for a time. Huh? He don't do this.
He does that too.
He does
Just
both.
because some people don't want to get on Starfish and they say they can't do it.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so he does it both.
Well, Mr. Merrick's not a teacher. He's a counselor. He's there. That's all he does.
Oh, this is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is advising. But
He's a coach.
yeah, he doesn't teach, so he's not in class, so that's why he don't have to do this. But anyway, you click on that and take up 2 spots if you have to. Okay, so that's what you do first. You find a time. Now, what if you can't make it? Should you just let it go, or should you go in here and cancel it? You cancel it because it'll send an email to the advisor, and that's just called responsibility. All right? And believe you me, I would much rather get an email from you saying that you're canceling 10 minutes before you meet than me sitting there 15 minutes waiting on it and you not show up. Okay? So please use this. All right, that's the first thing you do. Now, the second thing you do is you go by and talk to your advisor. Now, when you talk to your advisor, you don't walk into the class, you don't walk into the room, and first of all, you don't knock on the door like this. That just pisses people off, okay? Knock on the door. Okay? Don't do that, because that irritates people. And I just keep on working. And then eventually they'll get the message that either they'll say something or they'll knock on the door like you're supposed to. Talk to the person. This is what I have in mind, blah, blah, blah. Don't walk in there going, I'm supposed to come by here and get registered. What are you wanting to take, or what are you making? I don't know. Because I'll just tell you to go outside and think up something and come back in. I'm not going to sit there and hold your hand while you go to the bathroom. All right, you're going to have to do some thinking. You're going to have to do some planning. I passed Math 155, so I can take Math 120. Or I passed English 101, I can take English 102. You have to think a little bit before you go into your advisor's office. Not act like a deadhead. Deadheads get no respect, okay? At least not with me, they don't. 3, make sure you decide on your courses and think about what you're doing, all right? If you are, now most of y'all are not in college transfer, that's what I advise. In your case, you're done with math after you finish 155, all right? But some of your other courses are linked. And make sure you're not taking a course or trying to take a course that's not linked with your other courses, such as English 101 and 102. You don't want to take English 101 and then take some crazy English and then take Math and English 102 later, or then take them together. Okay, same thing if you were in a college transfer math and you needed to take Math 110 and 111. You don't take Math 110 and wait 6 months to take Math 111. Period. Go ahead and get the sequences out of the way. Biology 101, Biology 102. Get them out of the way. Then you can work on other things. Now, I do this for all my classes, and the reason I do it for this class, even though you don't need it, is because some of you change what? Your major. And if you change your major, this might apply to you. So I go through and I go through and I talk about it. Why is this thing? I talk about it with all my classes. At TriCounty Tech and most colleges, you've got these maths. Now, before they started watering down programs and making math easier for students who couldn't cut it, this was the only math you took. Okay? And basically, in high school, this is Algebra 1. This is Algebra 2. This is Algebra 3/4. And this is trig. And this is Calc 1. And then it goes for engineering and science majors. Engineering and science majors. And when I mean science, I don't mean just science. I mean any kind of math, any physics, biology, chemistry, pre-med, computer science, chemical engineers, anything having to do with science or math, you take this route, which is Calc 2, Calc 3 differential equations. So that's that link right there. Then over here, you got non-science majors, and then they take their maths, which they have 2 maths that they take, and that is Math 120 and Math 103. And you don't have to take them precede each other. They're just, in fact, they're both about the same. 103. And then for your business majors, oops, really, hold on, we'll change this about 5 times a day. And then here, for business majors, business, management, marketing, you got math 109, which is a sister to math 110, and then math 130, and then math 230, which is business calc 1 and business calc 2, which is calculus without the trig. All right, so there's all the math that we offer here at TriCounty. Of course, math 155 is over here, and math 155 is for 2-year majors. And usually, honestly, if you do this, you could, in my opinion, go take these two. But of course, TriCounty, they have to take something else. Have to take 102 before you can take 120. But I really believe you can retest after you take 155. You can retest on the placement test and get into 120 and 103. Or take one of my refreshers online and retest and go into math 120 and 103. But I'll get to your question in just a minute. The reason I show you this is because some of you may be thinking about changing major, and if you do, you need to think about what you need to take next. What was your question? Yeah. Either one. And some of your majors in political science, they take the math 120 also, because some people in political science transfer to another college, like Anderson University or Clemson, and take political science and get a bachelor's degree because they want to be a lawyer, or they want to have it for their degree for their job. They want to have a bachelor's degree for their job. It's up to you. But that's why they have 120 there also. Okay, who else has got questions? Now, make sure you got 4 weeks between now and March the 10th to go by and see your advisor. Okay? I don't know when the semester's over. I think it's April 25th or something like that. I don't know when. When is it? Or March 25th? Yeah. Well, after that, in between the first day of class, it's going to be hard to get somebody because we're on break. We're on break just like y'all are. Y'all don't hang around here on y'all's break. Why should we? So don't be mad if you can't find anybody when you've had 4 to 5 weeks to take care of this. So make sure you do that. Okay? Any questions on pre-registration? And those of you that are aggravated, I want you to write those emails as soon as you can because they need to be written, and I don't want you to forget about them. Okay, now we need to move on. I did assign your 6.5 homework, and we're just going to do a couple of those today just to make sure everybody's on the same sheet of music. And then next week we'll finish up the unit, the chapter, and I'm not going to do 6.6. I'm going to do 6.6 on a separate test. The reason I do that is because to give you a little bit of a breather between all that algebra and graphing. So I treat graphing as a separate test. So that way, get the algebra out of the way and then move over to graphing. Okay? So Monday and Wednesday of next week, I'll be finishing up chapter 6, except for 6.6. We'll go over that later. Okay? So, inequalities. I told you, if you watch the video, what do you need to remember? The inequalities tell you what you need to be using. I'm going to write it again up here, so you won't say, how'd you know to write those? These two guys give us an open circle, set of parentheses, or a dashed line if you're graphing a line. So if you see those two in an equation, you're going to use an open circle, you're going to use parentheses, or you're going to use a dashed line. If you have these two guys, then you're going to use a closed circle, brackets, or a solid line. And remember, negative infinity and positive infinity always gets what? Parentheses. Always. What was that?
Sorry, I was missing my class.
That's all right. I was just going to play with this and have a fit and stomp my feet.
Super
Show you the sign. All right. So let's do one. Okay, just erased it. That's great. 2x plus 3 in parentheses minus 4x, or plus 4x, is greater than or equal to 4x minus 2. Now, with all these problems, I don't care what you do in your homework. I don't care what the homework asks for. I want you to graph it. I want you to do it. I want you to graph it on a number line. I want you to put it in set builder notation and interval notation. We talked about that in the video. So, distribute, that's a 1 right here. So I distribute that 1, because you got to bust up the block. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's just writing all kinds of stuff up here, so I don't know what it's doing. So that'd be 2x plus 3 plus 4x is greater than or equal to 4x minus 2. What's 2x plus 4x? 6x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 4x minus 2. Which one's the smallest bucket? Bring it across the river, and it becomes negative 4x. What's 4x from 6x? 2x plus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 2. Take 3 across the river. So 2x is greater than or equal to what? Negative 5. So therefore, x is greater than or equal to negative 5 what? Or negative 2.5. And the only reason I changed it into a mixed number is because you got to plot it on what? Number line. 0, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is positive infinity, and this is negative infinity. So 2.5 is right here. So what kind of circle are we going to use? What? I heard wrong. Closed. And what numbers are greater than negative 5 halves? What numbers are greater than negative 5 halves or negative 2.5? Nope.
Oh, greater than, I'm sorry, anything behind this.
Anything where?
Negative behind this.
Anything this way.
My bad, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Always remember, it's better to have negative $1 in the bank than negative $2 in the bank. So, write this in set builder notation. Well, set builder notation, you just write braces, x such that, and then you just put your answer. X is greater than or equal to negative 5 for x. What about interval notation? Interval notation, you read the graph from left to right. So, negative 2.5, comma, to what? To what? To infinity. And what always goes on infinity? And what goes on your 2.5? Good. And that's your answer. All this is your answer. Because either a test question or a test question is going to ask you one, if not all, Are those four things. Now, if you didn't watch the video that I assigned you, then I'm sorry. USOL don't ask me no questions about it because you should have watched it. So if you didn't watch it, you need to go back and watch it. Yes, ma'am.
Which one that you're doing around the first top one when you're doing the building notation?
The set building notation, those are just braces. I just can't draw braces.
Okay, that's all.
I've never been able to draw that look like this.
Yeah, gotcha.
Y'all can draw, some of y'all can draw them real pretty.
Okay.
I always draw them, they look like Bob Hope. I just can't draw them. I wish, that's one thing I wish I could draw. I wish I could. And I try, and every once in a while I get lucky. I just can't draw them. And some of y'all make them look so pretty. You have them like, and I still can't do it. Remember, there's three things in math. There's the brace, there's the bracket, and then there's what? Parentheses. And I suck at drawing the brace. I do. I mean,
That's why I asked, I was like,
I try. Some of y'all are making, you know, I mean,
there you go, you're getting there.
still looks like Bob Hope. Or some kind of. All right, so make sure you can do those four things when you finish the problem. One, have the answer. Two, plot the answer. Three, write the set builder notation. And four, write the interval notation.
No, we do that homework on the computer program. Will we still do all three, or just do it?
They'll do one of those. It'll ask you either one or two of those. It may ask you all of them. It depends. But if you can do all four, you can do any of them. Now remember, I've said on the video that there's a different kind of problem, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. And that's the integers versus the whole numbers. Now right now, these are whole numbers because I can include, well, -2.5, that's a whole, it's not a whole number, that's an integer. I mean, that's a real number because it's a fraction. I can include this number. I can include this number. I can include this number. There may be decimals, but they're included. That's why I took the highlighter and I shaded the in-betweens, not just the whole numbers, but what's in between, okay? That's real numbers. So when you shade, you're talking about real numbers, which include fractions and what? Decimals and whole numbers. Okay? Well, percentages are not. Well, you could write a percentage as a fraction. So, yeah. And whole numbers. So that's why you use a shade. That's why you use the highlighter, because you can include all those numbers. Now, if I tell you to do this same type problem, we'll do another problem. Let's just do 2x minus 3 is less than 4x plus 1, and I tell you to integers, and the direction says something about integers, okay, in the solution set. Do that problem. And all I want to know is the integers that will work in the problem. Which one's the smallest bucket? 2x. So it comes across the river. Negative 3 less than 2x plus 1. That 1 comes across the river. Negative 4 is less than 2x. X is greater than negative what? So that's part of your answer. And you graph it. 0, 1, 2. Negative 1, negative 2. And I use an open circle at negative 2. And just so everybody understands, I take my handy dandy highlighter or eraser. Really? And what whole numbers, because integers right out to the right, whole numbers, what integers are greater than negative 2? So I put another one here, here, and there, and then I draw my open circles on those. No, you don't shade it because they're not wanting it. And then you put 3 dots right here. Well, technically these can be dots. They can be these. You can put dots on these because these are numbers greater than negative 2. You just can't use negative 2. Now, these 3 dots mean it keeps on going to what? Infinity, but you only use the what numbers? The whole numbers. Okay? So, the only difference is it's not shaded. What you do here is you go, okay, braces. Still, it's not like X such that and put X is greater than negative 2. And it might ask you to put 3 dots here like this. Those 3 dots means whole numbers. And then here, negative 2 to what? Infinity. And I'm going to put 3 dots right here saying that it's all whole numbers. And that's the difference between the 2 type problems in 6.5. Yeah, you have to you have to distinguish between the 2 in the directions. And unfortunately, I can't count them right if you don't catch it in the directions. I can't, because they are 2 different problems, even though they're very, very, very similar. They're 2 different problems, kind of like the difference between negative 5 and negative 2. They're similar. They have both multiples of 5, but they're not the same answer. So make sure, and I'll show you what they look like in the homework. So let me go to the homework. And then we'll do 2 of those, and then we'll pretty much quit for the day. So chapter contents, chapter 6, 5, and study time. Okay, that's one. That says graph the solution set of the inequality where x is a what? Integer. Now the first thing I'd do with this one is move 5x, that negative 5x where? Move it to the other side. That's the first thing I would do. Because you always want to make the variable what? Positive, Hubert. So I'm going to highlight this guy right here. And the first thing I'm going to do before I even start is I'm going to take this 5x and I'm going to move it across the river, and that becomes 5x minus 15 is less than negative 25. Now what do you do with this 15? Plus 15, 5x is less than what? 10 is negative 10. And x is less than negative 2. So that means I'm going to have what numbers are less than negative 2? Everything to the what? To the left. The less. You got to think of the bank account. So it's not this one, and it's not this one, and it's not this one. So it's what? And you can either not put put an open circle here, or you can put a parenthesis here, or you can just leave it blank. Either one. Or you put an open circle, or you put parentheses. Okay. So D would be your answer. And you feel good about yourself. All right, try that one. X is an integer, so that means the first one is what? That answer is not right. And I think we got another answer in there too. Yep. So we got 2 that's not right. Y'all do what aggravated with this one today. X plus 45 minus 1 less than 7x plus 8. 9x minus plus 44 less than or equal to 7x plus 8. 7 comes across, leaves 2x. 44 comes across as a minus. 8 minus 44 is what? 36. Negative 36. So x is less than or equal to negative 18. We said that this one wasn't it, and this one wasn't it. So which one is showing less than? Well, this one's not it because this one's showing what? Greater than. So, C, incorrect. And you put C in there and you feel good about yourself. And the rest of them, what does that one say? Does that one say integer or real number? That one is shade. So you need to write down somewhere in your notes, real number equals shade, integer means dot. Now the reason I'm not showing y'all a lot of this is because I've already spent a whole section showing you how to do these problems. As long as you keep the variable positive, you shouldn't have a problem. Now when you start messing with the variable and the variable's negative, then you're going to have problems because you got to remember 2 more rules. And I refuse to teach those rules because you don't need them. There is one problem that you cannot do. Well, actually you could, but I'm not going to go into it. And that's this problem, not this problem. And I try not to put it on the test because I try to keep the variable positive. Okay, I don't see it. Don't see it. Let me go back. And I don't see it. They don't have it. That's good. All right, here's one that you could actually say, but I would take the negative x over 8, I would take it to the other side. So that's not the one I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the one that cannot be solved. You have to deal with the negative. And so far I hadn't seen it yet. I'll show it to you. That'll be the last one we end on today. Because of course, if I don't see it, well, that means that y'all will go home, and guess what will show up on all of your homework? It will show up, and then you'll fuss at me and say that I suck, and I'll get some feelings hurt. I won't come back. Here it is. Negative x is less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to negative 4, but it's less than or equal to negative 7. I'm sorry, positive 7. That type problem right there is the only problem you can't get rid of negatives. So you have to divide through all 3 terms by negative 1. Or if there's a negative 2x in the middle, you divide through by negative 2. Or if there's a negative 1/2 x in the middle, you divide by negative 1/2. Okay, everybody with me? So when you do that, you've got to remember that the signs are all going to what? Change. But when you divide an inequality all the way through by a negative, not only the signs change, but what does inequalities do? They flip. And you got to remember that. That's why I tell you to keep the variable positive. This is the only time you can't keep the variable positive. So the answer is 4 greater than or equal to x greater than or equal to negative what? Which can be rewritten as negative 7, x is greater than or equal to negative 7, less than or equal to 4. Now that's the only problem that you have to divide through by negative. Okay? Question? Right. Complaint. All right, now you've got 3 sections to work on, which 2 or 3 sections, I can't remember. 6.1, 6.3, and 6.5, right? Then when y'all come in next week, we'll go over 6.2 and 6.4, and you'll be ready for a test Tuesday and Thursday. Okay? All righty, y'all have a good, I know who's here today, everybody's here. So I'll go ahead and hit the roll. And y'all have a good day. Don't work too hard.